Radio. And now we're live on Facebook as well. Greetings, everyone. That was pretty quick. I think I have a new way of getting on Blog Talk Radio directly with my smartphone, which it doesn't matter. I could do all this stuff before without a smartphone. This makes it a little easier. So, regardless, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're going to talk about tonight. We've got a essential show as always. Seems a few folks are coming on the line right now. Clifford's going to join me here in a bit, and we're going to get to the title of tonight's show as soon as I can move everything out of the way to read it. All right. So tonight's show is Coronavirus, Australian Wildfires Impeachment, Agenda 21, the BIS UN Agenda 21, and I'm thinking about just renaming the show This Week in Agenda 21. Seems like a good name. I remember when I was a kid, there was a show called This Week in Baseball, back when the rigged game of baseball used to be much more popular than it is now. We'll even get into some baseball, and we're going to talk about Kobe Bryant, about how, basically, what does anybody remember Kobe Bryant for? I remember him for raping some woman in Colorado, allegedly, and throwing and rigging important NBA basketball games. That's what I remember him for, so it will be appropriate when the rigged Super Bowl pays tribute to the guy that they predicted was going to be dead in a helicopter crash on the subpar, to say the least, Chamberlain Heights, the Legends of Chamberlain Heights, which was a really stupid Comedy Central show, which obviously only existed to put in bizarre MK Ultra predictive programming and mind control operations. So it looks like they don't show me everybody that is watching, but we're seeing some discrepancies in the number of folks watching and the number of folks they say are watching, which is it's always lower, it's never higher. So we're going to get into a little bit of how the FBI, DHS, I don't know what to call them, DIA, NSA, group called The Base, who allegedly named themselves after Al-Qaeda. We're going to get into how, I don't know, maybe a week and a half after they led the news regarding their plans to cause chaos in Richmond on January 20th. Before we even knew the name of them, we said, hey, this credible intelligence about problems and violence at the January 20th event, which was entirely set up and staged by the government. It turns out, yeah, that's right. The Hollywood actor looking guy that was arrested, he was a intelligence agent. Not to mention the Canadian guy that he allegedly smuggled through the border. That guy was military, as we know. So, yeah, we're going to get into that ridiculousness. So much this week. The coronavirus. Now, there's so many different theories. There are military biological warfare labs, creation mechanisms in Wuhan, China. So Hey, it just came into my mind about how the base was smuggling someone out of Canada, getting ready to unleash them in the United States, and according to one of the stories about the creation of the coronavirus, they smuggled it. Chinese intelligence agents smuggled it out of Canada, so they have the connection between the base and the coronavirus in order to weaponize it in Wuhan, China. So there's a number of creation myths regarding this coronavirus, but one thing I think that is key to all of this is um, the what was it called? 201. It was Johns Hopkins University and built the Gates Foundation. What was it? Experiment 201. Let me just see if I can look this up. No. Coronavirus 201. Gates, Johns Hopkins. So that's what we're looking up right now, because I want to get into that, and then that'll segue into the yeah, and whenever we look up this stuff, that is definitely something. The first thing that pops up in the Google search engine is what you're looking for definitely didn't happen. Okay, so here's factcheck.org. Yeah, we got hit down by science feedback on, not on my regular accounts, not that they're mine, not on the regular accounts that I use that have the name Chris Dorsey on it, but one of the pages that I created on this platform that you're watching me, not listening to me, or this is Facebook. You may watch me somewhere else later, but they had this science feedback thing where I was just simply showing, hey, the coronavirus is patented in the United States, according to justia.com, which is where I find other patents that are much less controversial, and some that are controversial. But in any event, I didn't make that website. It seems to be legitimate. I have seen legitimate patents on there before, and so I just said, well, okay, we'll go with that. And they said, oh no, fake news, says science feedback. How is it fake news? I don't know. But basically now their new thing is fake news. Fake news, even if it's obviously not fake news. So we'll get down to we'll show you what happens when you look this up. And they are, let me see if we're doing that. Yeah, okay. Okay. So it might be backwards, but we're going to show you anyways. See? So it's like, oh, this is fake. This thing that you're about to see, it's fake. It's fake. Who says this? Authorities. Fake authorities. And they basically tell you it's real, but it's not what you think. Okay, so let's get into this. Futurism.com, which is like the fifth thing down. Let's see. In a recent simulation, a coronavirus killed 65 million people. We are woefully unprepared for a pandemic. In October 2019, a group of 15 business people, government officials, and health experts gathered around a table in New York to plan out a global response blah, 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 blah. It was training exercising. It was a training exercise with a disturbing similarities in retrospect. Come on, to 2019 NCOV. That's new coronavirus for the uninitiated. The Chinese virus that has swiftly gone global this month. 3.5 hours later, the group finished the simulation, and despite their best efforts, they couldn't help prevent the hypothetical coronavirus from killing 65 million people. Okay. So there you go. And you know what they don't? They and this is always the case with the internet. They do not show you the original source on this, which is basically when I shared it, it was the only thing. It was the only thing that there was. So let me see if I can't find that on my Facebook page, and get back, because I figured that this would just come up. That would be the first thing that came up. Stupid. Should have known it would have been Snopes and fact check. Should have known. But in any event, we're gonna see if we can't locate this and just show you how obvious that you don't need somebody else to tell you what to think about what is already out there for you to see. I mean, could they have just made up this simulation? Yeah, that's true, but they're not saying that they made up the simulation. They're saying that it's not what you think. It's not what you think. That's what they always say. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, there's a world government. There's a one world government that controls, but it's not what you think. Yeah, there's one bank that sets the capitalization rates for all the governments of the world, but it's not what you think. Yeah, there's underground cities where they have enough food and oxygen and a travel system to get them anywhere in the world within, a fraction of the time that it takes folks above ground to do. But it's not what you think. Oh, yeah. They got these things under lock and key, to revitalize civilization after a pandemic, a nuclear holocaust, environmental destructive event that they can create themselves. But it's not what you think, Chris. Come on, it's not what you think. It's not what you think, man. Yeah, they got all these things, but it's not what you think. So that's what this fact check. Okay, here we go. Virginia Attorney General pushes for hate crime legislation in talk at synagogue. But it's not what you think, Chris. It's not these Jews controlling everything. Fake Jews, really. The synagogue of Satan controlling everything. It's not what you think. Israel has immunity to international law. It's not what you think, Chris. It's not what you think. All right. Here we go. Dozens of previously unknown viruses discovered in 150,000-year-old glacier. Come on. It's not what you think, Chris. It's not what you think. You don't know what I think. But yeah, it's definitely not that. Hey, Chris, can you make a video about the Kobe Bryant death? All this commotion going on in the media about his death sounds fishy. Sounds like more PSYOP crap going on. Well, definitely that. We did cover that here, Yasmin. I saw that you came in a little after we started. But, yeah, we got into Chamberlain Heights and how the only thing that's certain about Kobe Bryant's death is that it was predicted in a crappy cartoon that it wasn't funny at all, called The Legends of Chamberlain Heights. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. So right now we're trying to find the original source, and I'm finding so much good information that we that we documented. I'm not coming up with these articles. All this stuff is out there for everyone to see. Just like my political ideas, I didn't come up with this stuff. I just read the Bible and read the Constitution and read history books and read people's direct quotes. So hey, thanks as always, Lori, Walter Suzuki. I really appreciate it. That's awesome, Lori. You are awesome, and I thank you so much, as always, for hosting a watch party. And if anybody else wishes to do that, please do. I mean, it's very helpful. I appreciate Lori very much. Thank you so much, Lori. And we're gonna get to this soon. I mean, there's so much crap in between. We're gonna talk about the massive tectonic warfare that's been going on, and really, it's so obvious. It's so obvious, and this is another thing. Okay, America's distracted with impeachment. There's lots of the coronavirus is out. Did the mass shooters, did they go on break? Is it like the Premier League and the FA Cup with the Liverpool, where it's like, okay, coronavirus, you guys got this week. We're going on break, and it's our real break. So like like with Jurgen Klopp says, hey, yeah, we're gonna have the under 21 or under 23, I don't know, folks play in the FA Cup game. We're just not going to play that. So that's what the mass shooters are doing during impeachment and during the coronavirus. I see you're busy with it's not mass shooter season right now, so no mass shootings. But there was another hoax mass shooting here in Henrico County, Virginia, at two high schools, at J.R. Tucker High School, and what was the other one? Was it Mills Godwin High School? So there was some symbolism in that one, but basically, don't worry, guys, because basically during this mass shooting, which was not allegedly this time, like they had right before the day the General Assembly session started here in Virginia, which was a prank text to 911 from a 12-year-old, allegedly. This time, there's no explanation, but they say, hey, don't worry, because, like, they went into lock and teach mode. There's something called lock and teach mode at schools now. Don't worry, mass shooter. Hey, the mass shooter's not going to interrupt our misinformation and disinformation that we're telling you. We'll just go into lock and teach mode. Lock and teach mode. Okay, fair enough. That's some ridiculous nonsense, but anyway, cool. Thanks for the lock and teach mode. All right, so and while we're uncovering all of this, we're still trying to get to that original source, because we can't do it from a Google search, or at least not on the first page. Bird watchers uncover staggering magnitude of bird depopulation decline. Makes me sick. Oh, there's the cute cat. Okay, so there's sometimes I'll put in stuff about a cat and or dogs being cute, or animals. Yeah, here we go. Godwin and Tucker teachers high school switch from lock and teach mode to restricted movement. Okay, so all you folks that said how ridiculous I was when I started saying that jails were prisons for kids, I don't know, I guess I started saying that 15 years ago. Said it on TV a number of times. Say it in every interview that I can. Yeah. There's no difference. It's the exact same thing. Restricted movement. Okay. U.S. factory sector in deepest slump in more than 10 years, but the economy's so great. That's not true. That the economy's not great. U.S. military aircraft crashes in Iraq. So we're going to get into their allegations that the CIA agent that killed the Iranian general Soleimani was taken out in a strike on a airplane in Afghanistan. So there's confirmations and denials about that. We'll talk about that as well. Anybody wants to call in to talk about any of these issues, or if there's anything relevant besides that I've missed, which I really doubt. Okay, leader of the base militant group revealed as intelligence contractor, suspected federal agent. Okay, so let's get into this one. Let's get this right now while we're talking about it. This is January 25th. Chris Menahan, and again, the title is Leader of the Base Militant Group Revealed as Intelligence Contractor, Suspected Federal Agents. Now, all y'all knew this before the article. You know, most of you figured it out. But as soon as they said the base, even before they said there was the base, and just didn't say it was an organization, but that they just had credible intelligence. I'm talking about they being Brian Moran, Ralph Northam, LeVar Stoney, the mayor of Richmond, Ralph Northam, governor of Virginia, Brian Moran, Virginia director of Homeland Security, William Smith, Richmond Police Department chief of police. You see, it's because I have personal experience with all these guys working with groups of terrorists that they made up whole cloth. Not just the government, the abstract government corporation. I'm talking about these guys particularly. Personally that I know, and have confronted them with a camera and a gun in my hand. No, gun on my side, camera in my hand. To be exact, which I shall be. Readers will no doubt be shocked to learn that the leader of the, quote, white supremacist neo-Nazi terrorist group, the Base, is an intelligence contractor and appears to be a federal agent. What's the difference, man? I don't know. But anyway, I didn't write this article. Not that I disagree with it. In truth, it'd probably be more shocking to learn if he wasn't a Fed. I agree with that. Okay. So, The Guardian has learned that the true identity of the leader and founder of the U.S.-based neo-Nazi terror network, The Base, named after Al-Qaeda, also created by United States intelligence agencies, was recently the target of raids by the FBI after an investigation into domestic terrorism uncovered their plans to start a race war. And like I said, this guy wants to start a race war. Have you ever been to Richmond? Okay, good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. I mean, have you seen? I mean, all right. That's not the place to be successful in any kind of race war. For all you intelligence agents who are attempting to kick off some sort of race war, Richmond's not the place, man. It's not going to work here. Let's see. Okay, the base's leader previously operated under aliases Norman Spear. Sounds like a gay porno actor. Alright. And Roman Wolf. Again, gay. gay, gay, gay. You guys who are falling for this stuff are also latently homosexual. Members of the network do not know, and I'm talking about like Richard Spencer and what was the other guy? Jason Kessler. You guys fall for that stuff, you guys have got issues and problems. You guys go out LARPing like you're fighting in some sort of middle-aged battle. You guys are homosexuals. You don't do that. You know, battle and warfare serves a purpose. It's not something to be reenacting or something like that. Although reenactment is, I mean, I enjoy watching reenactments through documentaries, but you fight in some tranny on the streets of Charlottesville. It's not a heroic move. But the Guardian can reveal that Norman Spear is in fact U.S.-born Ronaldo Nazzaro, 46, who has a long history of advertising his services as an intelligence, military, and security contractor. He has claimed under his aliases to have served in Russia and Afghanistan. The revelation of his identity comes after a months-long investigation by the Guardian into Nazzaro and the activities of the base. His services seem to be linking Russia to the white supremacist movement in the U.S. on behalf of the FBI. Late August, an Oregon-based anti-fascist group, Eugene Antifa, also all run by government agents, also LARPers, actors, intelligence creations, etc., 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 warned the base was planning a hate camp in the neighboring state of Washington and claimed Nazzaro, operating under the alias of Spear, had purchased land in Stevens County for training purposes. This warning came after a leak of the base's internal chats. Who are they talking to? Who are they talking amongst? This is so ridiculous. Let's see. In emails obtained by the Guardian via okay, then it says local media outlets picked up the story, which led local law enforcement to urgently seek information on the group. Right, like they had to seek information. They knew all about it. In emails obtained by the Guardian, in emails given to the Guardian to leak and limited hangout, limited information, this essential story out. I'm paraphrasing for them. Via public records, the Stevens County Sheriff, Brad Mankey, that guy sounds a bit manky, is seen contracting, Freudian slip there, contacting the FBI and the Southern Poverty Law Center for advice. Okay, so now the Sheriff's Department is asking the FBI and the Southern Poverty Law Center on how to, proceed? Come on! You guys gotta be joking me with this stuff. Yes, thank you, Karen. I can't be the only one laughing as I stumble over my speech. All right. On August 20th, 2019, so 5 months ago, Mankey writes to an FBI agent asking, do you have a name for the actual head of the group, the base, or the address where the property actually is? Quote unquote. No word on how the FBI responded. Come on. Who writes this stuff? Who writes this stuff? Come on. No word. Property record searches revealed that three 10-acre blocks of undeveloped land were purchased in December 2018 in the name of a Delaware LLC called Base Global. They're incorporated in Delaware, like every other thing on planet Earth that runs under this government incorporation. That's why when we reported, what was it, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, on the Russian Federation Incorporated suing Venezuela Incorporated, and one of their arms, one of their many oil producing corporations, they sued them in a Delaware court. So when everybody talks about Delaware is not important, it's a stupid state, it's basically a couple beaches and a suburb of Philadelphia. That's what it's important for these corporate tricks. All right, so there you go. The base, white Al-Qaeda, is incorporated in Delaware and buying property for hate camps. Come on. Let's see. Deeds of sale. Let's see. He purchased the land under the name of his international terrorist group. They traced the purchase back to his family member's apartment in New Jersey, which he and his wife lived in. In deed of sale, the address provided the company was a New Jersey post office, enough to conceal the purchaser's identity, but separate tax affidavits associated with the purchase give a different address for Base Global. Ooh, okay. Well, so Base Global has the wrong address. No. That's not the address of Base Global. This worldwide terrorist organization that's going to start a race war in Virginia. How'd that work? What? It all unraveled after Norman Spear was arrested? I mean, come on. Give me a freaking break. Speculation that Nazaro was a federal agent. Norman Spear's advocacy of the location of the land is consistent with Norman Spear's advocacy for a white supremacist strategy called Northwest Territorial Imperative. Man, I remember hearing about that stuff before I even knew what any of this stuff was. So I'm like, wait a second. I was hearing about this when like, I don't know, and I was living in Hagerstown, Maryland, and there were like, 10 black people in my whole school, and I would go days, weeks, and months without seeing someone who is generations back my direct cousin. Not only just all white people, but no Jews. I never saw Jews. I saw people who were of Swiss, German, Scottish, Irish, and English descent. Pretty exclusively. You'd have to go back generations. So like, I'm hearing about all this stuff about a Northwest Territorial Imperative as a child, and I'm like, what the heck is all this? Then when I start becoming conscious of it, I'm like, why would people have to move to the Northwest Territory? Like, there's whole counties in West Virginia, that are nothing but white people. I mean, it's like, oh, and all these rich white people, they don't have to move out of a state to be around nothing but white people. They just block themselves off and buy a bunch of land. And absurd. This is recycling garbage from 35, 45, 50 years ago. that the government themselves created. The strategy argues for a creation of a separatist ethno-state in the Pacific Northwest. Old stuff. Blah, 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 blah. In one of Norman Spear's first public appearances on a far-right podcast in December. So this guy, this is his backstory. As far as it goes back, is this guy's the leader, but his first public appearance that they can tell us is in December of 2017. So like 2 years before they trot him out. He was introduced as a Northwest Front organizer and went on to spell out a 4-state plan culminating in achieving independence, realizing the ultimate goal, which is an independent nation state in the Pacific Northwest. Okay. The plan, he said, would trigger the relocation to the Pacific Northwest of the white population of the United States. See, this is exactly... They made a joke. I remember this show I used to watch. Obviously, like a Zionist Jew show called, well, Mr. Show. With Bob Odenkirk and... what's the other guy's name? David Cross. So these Jews, they had a meeting. Let's see if we can track that down. Mr. Show, white supremacy. Oh, jeez, my spelling is so awful. But in my defense, like the letters are worn out on almost all the not almost all the keys, but on some of the major keys. Let's see. Is this it? I'm looking for the clip. Like, YouTube has everything except for, okay, the biggest failure in history, Broadway history. No. These chumps. And, like, this show is... I used to think it was funny. I used to like the show. I mean, and I can't say that I don't dislike the show. But I see it for what it is. So it's not a matter of me liking or disliking. You dropped the bomb on me, which turned into Caribbean Queen. So, I mean, it went on and on. Let's see. Mr. Show. Let's see. All right, I'm trying to locate this clip. If anybody can locate this clip about, what I'm talking about, this is maybe a little bit of an obscure reference, but that's what I know. I know obscure and not obscure references. And there is, if we can find the clip, that's great. If we can't find the clip, it existed. Millions of people probably watched that show. It was on HBO. So if you had HBO back in the late 90s, I think is when this came out, where they're getting the clip from. Let's see. Maybe we'll take the you dropped the bomb on me. And we'll just do Mr. Show, white supremacy. Let's see if that comes up with anything. Okay. This might be it. The biggest failure in Broadway history, I guess, is the episode. So we're going to see if we can't locate this. This is frustrating to me because of all the stuff of all the stuff that that is out there. Let's see. Biggest failure. What worked? Um, okay. Okay. Maybe my search is wrong because it's a meeting, white supremacy meeting. Maybe try that. White supremacy meeting. And in this they reference the Northwest. Um, all right, we're not going to waste any more time, but I'm telling you, this base thing is a takeoff on the Mr. Show sketch about a meeting of white supremacists, also meeting with blacks, Jews, and homosexuals. And it's a funny thing where instead of agreeing that they're going to start a riot by dropping a bomb, then they replace that with they're just going to play the song You Dropped the Bomb on Me by the Gap Band. And then they decide that they're not even going to do that, that they're going to replace that with that they're just going to play the Billy Ocean song, um, Caribbean Queen. I don't know the particulars of why all this stuff was funny back in the day, but it was something that I thought was particularly hilarious. Maybe I had the sense that something more was going to come on this. Was the base a honeypot designed to entrap people? Beginning in 2009 and as late as 2019, Nazaro billed himself as an intelligence expert working with various government and military intelligence agencies. Nazaro is the principal of an LLC called Omega Solutions International, or OSI, a company offering a range of intelligence and security contracting. Its website, which was removed from the internet sometime after August 2019, boasted the firm's experience conducting intelligence analysis for government agencies, military organizations, and private businesses, as well as access to a network of seasoned security professionals with expertise in counterinsurgency, homeland security, hostage rescue / negotiation, and psychological operations. Come on, guys. All right. So there we go. We have opened and closed the book on the base. And we didn't need to know all these particulars, but now we do. Now we do know all the particulars about Nazaro, the intelligence agent, aka Norman Spear, who was falling for this. Like that, you see, that's the thing with these FBI honeypots. Only the stupid people fall for it, or they just make up. They go like, "Oh, you didn't fall for this? Okay, well, you fell for it." "No, I didn't." "Yes, you did. You're arrested." I mean, this stuff is so laughable. It's so freaking laughable. So here's this guy, Nazaro, from Jersey, aka Norman Spear, who is a high level snitch. There's the high level snitch. There you are. All right, there you go. Job done. Mission accomplished. So what else are we going to get into tonight? Let's see. We got Cliff on the ship. No, Cliff's still not called in. So hopefully hopefully this show is being shared, and hopefully we will hear from Cliff soon. So yeah, thanks to everybody for watching, and we have verified that the base is nothing more than an FBI front group, like we said from the beginning. And now we've identified the name of the guy who seems to be behind this, and the fact that he is an intelligence officer, intelligence agent, I should say, not officer. I mean, what's the difference? There's no difference. I'm not going to apologize for saying that. I mean, I'll stand behind that. If somebody, you said he was an intelligence, okay, he's that too. Is a 46-year-old from New Jersey called Nazaro, who's an intelligence agent, and this was not very well hidden. And the property for the hate camp, which got its, I guess, inspiration from an episode of Mr. Show, and was purchased by a Delaware LLC called Base Global. So they named their terrorist group, are they in the LLC that they bought their property for, and also the fact that there is the fact that nobody ever heard of these guys before, like 2 weeks ago. All right, so there you go. There you have it. Case closed with that. Oh, now back to the hunt. And by the way, hunting is crappy, and meat eating is murder. So there you go. If you like to be biblical and Christian, we're living in the time of Revelation. So this is not the time. We harken back to the time of Genesis during the time of Revelation. So you meat eaters have to stop, or continue on with your murder and killing animals whose lives are doing a lot less bad things for the planet than you are. How MLB, the show, illustrates the deadly effectiveness of the Astros cheating. We'll get back to that here in a second. So I did tease the fact that they're rigging the baseball games really pretty easily, sign stealing. And one thing, I watched a documentary on ESPN maybe Monday morning, and it was about Pete Rose and Joe Jackson, known as Shoeless Joe Jackson, the Black Sox scandal. And it goes back over, how at the time when the Black Sox scandal happened, that game rigging was well known, that everybody in Major League Baseball was engaged in game rigging. So it didn't really seem like there was that much of a plot twist, and it was so sophisticated that somebody could be in on game rigging and hit over 300 and hit a home run in the series and still be involved in the game rigging, which makes sense, And Kobe Bryant, it is so appropriate that the biggest game to be rigged in sports every year, at least in the United States, the Super Bowl, and the first, and what I see as the only celebrity sacrifice this year, was Kobe Bryant, because it is so rigged, and he was involved in so much game rigging. I remember talking to so many different people during his career about the rigging, and that's one of the things where it made me so certain of it, because I dissected his performance in so many different games, and it was certain that he was rigging it. And we'll get more on that here in a minute. We're just trying to locate this. Event 201. All right, yeah, Operation Popeye, Harvard Chemistry. This is from the Herald Mail. Harvard Chemistry Department head charged with lying about China ties. Okay. U.S. military source says no CIA staff on Afghanistan crashed jet. Right. I don't believe that. All right, here we go. Yeah, well, we'll watch out for you, Chad. I don't know what to say. Like, good. Man, I don't really trust anyone on the internet. I don't trust anyone on the internet. So, that's fine. Hey, I would love my own farm too. All right, we've got to get to this freaking thing. Yeah, Gallup poll: 85%, excuse me, people hate their job, and my analysis of that is 15% of people are cool with slavery. All right. So let's try to get some relevant comments in the comments section. All right. So yeah, Alan Dershowitz. That stuff was crazy. The earthquakes. Here we go. Rights group demand Israel stop arming neo-Nazis. That's kind of old. Virginia Senate passes bill to let transgender people get new birth certificates. Oh, there we go. There we go. Iran switches from dollar to euro for official reporting currency. Huawei is helping fight the coronavirus by setting up 5G base stations. Some folks think that the coronavirus is just basically 5G sickness. We had Putin, who was pimping for his tribe in Jerusalem. Man, come on. Where are we going? Okay, so we do want to get into ESG quants when we talk about the economy, because basically everything is ESG quants now. What's the economy? It's AI that they describe as ESG quants. Banks have returned to pre-2008 world of automatic credit limit increases for credit cards used by already at-risk individuals. So, there you see. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, hey, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because, yeah, I mean, that is obviously the plan of that I have to start a refuge, a global farm, which will be a safe refuge for all animals and not be an excuse to, uh, raise, my own animals for not supporting this crooked system. So fair enough. Fair enough. Again, it doesn't change anything about anything that I say about I don't trust anybody on the internet, and folks really have to start identifying themselves in real life, don't use this thing like I learned all these tricks, all the tricks that folks use on the internet. I learned them in real life before this stuff. So Not saying anything bad about you, Chad Martin. I just like, I always have to say that. And something about what you wrote made me want to say that. All right, let's see. Where is this freaking thing? All right, so we're still looking for the link for Event 201. Event 201. And here we go. Hackers may have gained almost total control of an election server in Georgia, report says. MSN. Now we're up to 54. No, 54? 64. 64. All right, Cliff's on. Excellent. 64. 64 folks with traumatic brain injuries, up from 0. Yeah, well, you should identify yourself better, okay? I mean, this stuff is obvious, but hey, right on. That's right. So, like, you shouldn't have that rule for me because everybody, I'm a real person and you can identify me and, like, down to every sort of information that's publicly available about me. Federal ban on making lethal viruses is lifted. New York Times. But anyway, I don't want to get... Here we go. Oh my gosh, it just took so long to get to that. But hey, we covered a lot along the way. Event 201. And here. Event 201. So this is what they're telling us is fake news. So we'll go to the link. So you can see it. And you can find it too if you want. The Johns Hopkins... Oh, okay. The Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, in partnership with World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, hosted Event 201, a high-level pandemic exercise on October 18th, 2019 in New York, New York. The exercise illustrates where the public-private partnerships will be necessary during the response to a severe pandemic in order to diminish large-scale economic and societal consequences. Statements about the new coronavirus and our pandemic exercise. Case closed. Case closed. Judgment to whoever is saying that this is happening, and mock nothing but contempt for those who say that this is fake. This is really the case. So why on earth would they say that this is not the case? Why would they say that they didn't have a simulation of the new coronavirus as a pandemic 3 months before the outbreak of the coronavirus? Why would they do that? I don't know. But what we do know for sure is that they did do that. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, they did that. Hey, here's a funny one for you. Prince Andrew to move to Thailand. So we're going to talk about, that's another thing that I wish to bring up. This thing with Harry and Meghan. So one thing that it was not which I didn't know until a few days ago. I didn't know until a few freaking days ago that Harry and Meghan are staying on the property of Frank Guistra. And y'all might remember Frank Guistra. If you listen to this show at all, you definitely remember Frank Guistra, because he was the guy who was in charge of the Canada-based company called Uranium One that owned 20% of the uranium production inside the United States that then sold that said uranium production to Rosatom, which is the Russian state-owned atomic energy corporation. So that's where Harry and Meghan are, hanging with Frank Guistra. And the other thing about him is he was the guy who started the Clinton Foundation. Okay, so let's see if we can't find that. Frank Guistra. Let's see where he is in the news. I'm guessing he's in the news for Harry and Meghan, but we'll see how this DARPA apparatus operates. Excuse me. Okay, here's gold will be explosive, unlike we've ever seen before. So that references this, like, I guess, like 2,500% increase in gold over the next 3 years that we've been talking about. Let's see where he is in the news. Gold rising, of course. Everybody knows. Hey, if you've got any money, put it. It's gold is going to be where it is. Meghan Markle and Harry hiding out at Canadian billionaire Frank Guistra's mansion, and they're still there. Okay, so this is more that, you know, and he was associated with the Rothschilds and Rosatom and all that other stuff. So let's get rid of this before the computer freezes up. All right. Hopefully it already didn't. Okay. All right, so there we've covered that. And also, Harry sued because he was having pictures of himself taken with drugged and shackled animals. And the media reported that these rhinoceroses, hippopotamus, elephants that Harry was having his picture taken with were drugged and shackled. And then actually the pictures showed that they were actually drugged and shackled. Let's see. We can get that. Animals drugged and shackled. All right, here we go. So all right, here we go. Images for hairy, drugged, and shackled animals. Okay, hold on a second. Drugged and tethered. Tethered. Okay. Tethered. Okay, so there we go. We got this. Prince Harry. Well, Freudian slip there. Or fucking ironic slip, I should say, not Freudian. Harry, media complaint over drugged and tethered animals photos dismissed. Harry has lost a breach of accuracy complaint filed against British tabloid The Mail on Sunday, according to the ruling released by Independent Standards. Okay. Harry loses Mail on Sunday complaint over sedated wildlife photos. Harry media complaint over drugged and tethered animal photo dismissed. So that's what the headlines are. So there we go. There you have it. See if we can get Clifford on the line here. Not sure if Clifford's joining us, if Clifford's with us, but I'd like to get Clifford on the line somehow. If we can get Clifford on the line. And let's see if I can delete this comment from Richard Freudlin. Richard, hey, delete that comment you just wrote there, man, please. I'll be watching that guy even closer now. So, where are we gonna go with this? Let's see if we've gotten any. Yep, David Edgerly saying keeps getting booted off. Let's see. Nope. No really good comments. So again, you guys fail. So that's all right. Hey, thanks to Lori. Thanks to anybody else who's sharing this. But as far as the comments go, not really helpful. Not really doing much of anything. But that's all right. We've already covered pretty much everything, and we're gonna get into the specifics of the most important thing. And I'm gonna thank Andre in Basel, Switzerland, for this one. And wait a second. I think maybe I can find this article. And this is about this article I'm about to read from is from a book written by the Bank for International Settlements, and it is about the central banks of the world. Is about the central banks of the world and how they are going to work with the governments and corporations for the purposes of climate change and enforcing the quote-unquote Green New Deal. So we're going to read from this book written by the Bank for International Settlements regarding the Green New Deal. And so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm finding the extremely helpful comment written by Andre, who has been following my YouTube or the YouTube channels that I utilize over the years for many years, and has been a good tipster, and he's right in the belly of the beast. A lot of my ancestors are from Basel, Switzerland, and so yeah, the Swiss, they are in some ways the best, and in other ways the Germans are the best, and in other ways the English are the best, and the Irish are the best. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about the best. And I'm not saying the best in the world. I'm saying the best for me, because that's what I am. Swiss, German, English, Irish, Scottish, Italian, Czech, Romanian, Polish, Russian, Ukrainian. That's the best. And that's the best for me because that's what I am. So I thank my cousin in Basel, Andre, for the information that we're about to give to you. And of course, we're talking about building our bridge to God, understanding this hellscape and working against it. And so there we have it. This is Khazarian mob stuff. Where is his comment? All right. So we're going to have to find it elsewhere because it doesn't look like it's there anymore. Man, this is so frustrating. All right. So let's see if we can get. Wow. And it's so funny the stuff that sticks on your freaking on your computer, and what really just doesn't come up. All right, so keep going. All right, so we're gonna keep going here and get to this essential information. I don't know what Brazilian Lima is, but I'll look it up. Brazilian Lima. Lima. Okay. So, what is that? Adriana Lima? Okay. The only thing that really comes up when I do that looks like some actress, model, fashion show. Adriana Lima. Okay, so fair enough. Fair enough. Thanks for wasting my time there, Dylan. Much appreciated. And when I say like I have so much contempt for everyone involved in all this stuff. I mean, the general population, man, nothing but contempt for the general population, the quote unquote public. But yeah, I mean, I really have a lot of contempt for most of the viewers of this show, because it's just I feel that it's nothing helpful, and that most folks are just maybe intelligence agents, or I don't know. But anyway, hey, if you're not a bad person, don't think I'm talking about you. But it's I just see how persons behave, and let's see, and I don't like it. I don't like it. It's not helpful. Change the bank for international settlements. So we'll still thank Andre, even though it's not his link that's getting us there. But again, this is the most important information. The Green Swan. I can't believe I couldn't remember that. Okay, so this is January 20th, 2020. The Green Swan PDF. Central banking and financial stability in the age of climate change. So again, I hope you guys don't like me. I hope you don't like me, and that doesn't. But this is the most important information. I don't know how many times I keep having to tell you this. I am disgusted with myself by giving to the public, which I despise the public, this information. I cannot help myself from doing this. If I do the wrong thing in every other aspect of my life, which I don't believe I do, it's like I'm doing the right thing here. This is more important than any other information that you have. The Green Swan. Swan. Central banking, financial stability in the age of climate change. This is about your financial slavery. All right. Come on now. There we go. All right. So here we go. January 2020. Now, this month. So this is their current thing. The views expressed in this publication are those of the authors and do not necessarily blah, blah, blah. Abstract. Climate change poses new challenges to central banks, regulators, and supervisors. This book reviews ways of addressing these new risks within central banks' financial stability mandate. However, integrating climate-related risk analysis into financial stability monitoring is particularly challenging because of the radical uncertainty associated with a physical, social, and economic phenomenon that is constantly changing and involves complex dynamics and chain reactions. Traditional backward-looking risk assessment and existing climate economic models cannot anticipate accurately enough the form that climate-related risks will take. These include what we call green swans, like they used to call like black swans, or the things that always lead to the economic downturn. Black swans are the things that lead to the economic downturn, and now that they're calling them green swans because they're representing climate change now. Now the black swans are not going to be the technical aspects of the economy that cause the financial downturn, like the mortgage, like the predatory mortgage derivatives bubble. They're going to say it's going to be some sort of climate related event like the wildfires in Australia or the coronavirus outbreak in China. So when they do this, so let's give some context here, because I want to give some context. I would love to bounce information off of smart individuals and have like a give and take with the with what's going on here in the world. But hey, it doesn't seem like that's the case. Hey Richard, if you got a lot to say, why don't you call into the show? The call-in number for everyone is 646-668-2151. That's 646-668-2151. 646-668-2151. Please call in. So, with this coronavirus, I hear a lot of folks saying, hey, it's not real, it's a complete hoax, and this and that. And there are things that point to that being the case. Just like the bird flu and the swine flu, that killed less people than the actual flu does every year here in America. And so the numbers that we're looking at for the coronavirus, if they are accurate, are a lot less than man, you suck, dude. And they're a lot less than the regular flu kills every year. So, hey, that means there's many possibilities, including that they're hiding the number of people who have died as a result of the coronavirus, and or hey, it's not that big of a deal. Now, I've seen headlines that they're incinerating bodies and all this other stuff, but we're not really sure about that. The only thing I know that for sure about the coronavirus, it is affecting financial systems and financial structures. And it is good to do what? Buy low and sell high. Buy low and sell high. So that leads to what? It leads exclusively to those ESG quants, environmental, societal, government quants. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. All you have to do is say, hey, coronavirus, we're going to shut this down. We're going to shut that down. And then the market goes down. It's just like when we were talking about when Trump was speaking before a NATO conference and the global markets started plummeting just by what he said. These things are rigged on every single level. It's not just one level. So we're talking about rigging global financial markets right now in this abstract written by the Bank for International Settlements called The Green Swan. It's a book written by the Bank for International Settlements called The Green Swan. All right. Central banks have a role to play in avoiding such an outcome, which would be these green swan risks, potentially extremely financially disruptive events could be behind the next systemic financial crisis. So what they're telling you is the next financial crisis is going to be caused and is being caused right now by a green swan event that's underway. Wildfires in Australia, coronavirus in China. So they're telling you central banks have a role to play in avoiding such an outcome. Except for what they should say is central banks have a role. What they mean to say, if they were telling the truth, is central banks have a role to play to create such an outcome, including seeking to improve their understanding of climate-related risks through the development of forward-looking scenario-based analysis. So I will translate that. Central banks have a role to play in creating such an outcome, including by seeking to improve their understanding of manipulating climate-related risks through the development of forward-looking scenario-based analysis in order to achieve our depopulation and planetary slavery goal. But central banks alone cannot mitigate climate change. If climate change can be mitigated, what the heck can central banks do to mitigate it? This complex collective action problem requires coordinating actions among many players, including governments, the private sector, civil society, and international community. What about the environment itself? So that's more of that ESG quant speak. And the ESG quant means environmental, societal, and governmental quantum finances. So let's see. ESG quants. ESG quants. So that's what's running everything, in case you don't know it, and you probably don't. Because even the folks they'll say, oh, this isn't ESG quants running everything. It is artificial intelligence ESG quants running everything. ESG quant is an investment strategy developed by Arabesque Partners, which involves quantitative equity investing while utilizing environmental, social, and corporate governance information, often referred to as non-financial information, but it's nothing but financial information. ESG quant strategies are implemented within systematic trading or quantitative trading. Quantitative trading. Mathematical finance, also known as quantitative finance or financial mathematics, is a field of applied mathematics concerned with mathematical modeling of financial markets. Generally, mathematical finance will derive and extend mathematical or numerical models without necessarily establishing a link to financial theory, taking observed market prices as input. All right, now we're going back to ESG quant. As Okay, here we go. As such, because it is systematic or quantitative trading or mathematical trading or like quantitative easing, as such, there is no human judgment, discretionary buy or sell decision making. Rather, in a pure quant model, the final decision to buy or sell is made by the model or the utilization of an expert system that replicates previously captured actions of real traders. So there you go. All right. So back to the green swan. Yes. That is it. They create these scenarios through control of the weather. They create these scenarios through control of the financial models that are computer programs. So the future of the computer program is whatever the programmer puts in. What is the future of this program? It's whatever the programmer puts in. This complex collective action problem requires coordinating actions amongst many players, as we just said. Central banks can therefore have an additional role to play in helping coordinate the measures to help manipulate and profit from climate change, quote unquote. But they say help fight climate change. Those include climate mitigation policies such as carbon pricing, the integration of sustainability into financial practices, and accounting frameworks. They're going to create so much fake money out of this, so much non-existent money. And I can tell you that when you get $1,000, they'll get $1 million. And when they get $1 million, the 1% gets $500,000. And the upper middle class, you get 1,000 and the upper middle class gets 10,000. That's how this system works. It's so, Cliff and I were talking about Andrew Yang and the $1,000, this wage that everyone's going to get just for nothing. And that's going to be a trap, just like everything else that they set up is a trap. Because when they give you $1,000, they're going to raise your month $1,000 a month. Your monthly expenses are going to be raised to $1,005 a month. I mean, obviously, all of your wages are all of your bills are over $1,000 a month. Obviously, everyone's is, but in any event, it's not going to work out for you. This would cause hyperinflation, and the problem is not going to be solved by quantitative finances. It's going to be solved by ending usury. Okay. So we've read the abstract, and here, where's the forward? All right, so we're gonna go down the ways here. Okay, so we're gonna read some of the executive summary here. This book reviews some of the main challenges that climate change poses to central bank regulators and supervisors, and the potential ways of addressing them. So, read the Green Swan. I'm not gonna spend any more time reading from this document, but basically they're telling you that they are creating the climate change, and they're going to profit from it, which is what they do with everything: manipulate, create, and then profit from everything. So I do want to talk about animal rights and how we will have absolutely no human rights until we have animal rights, because what what all these individuals who are treating humans as if their lives don't matter, that's because humanity as a whole, and we're talking about the times of revelations now. We're in the time of revelations. It doesn't mean it's the apocalyptic end of the world. It means it's the end of an age. It's the end of an age, so we're moving forward with the knowledge that this is the end of an age and that we're instructed in the book of Revelations to go back to our time of Genesis and living in harmony with the animals. And I don't believe that it was ever the intention of God for us not to do that. I think it was a test. And I think we do not need, and it is not the healthiest thing for humans to do, to eat animals. It is healthier to have a plant-based diet than have an animal-based diet. So that's the fact. And even if it was not healthier, it is not our right to take away the lives of innocent animals to stuff down our gullets. And as I often say, not all, but most meat eaters, the animals that they're eating, and that's one of these tortured souls that creates this, demonic hellscape on planet Earth, that their lives and that those animals living would make the world a much better place than the sustenance given to the gluttonous demons who are eating it. So there you go. And we're going to get into that. Hey, Cliff's on the line. Thank God. All right. Hey, Cliff, how's it going, man?
It's going. Sorry, I'm late. Busy working.
Oh yeah. I know that's right. Well, hey, we're happy to have you on, and we covered almost everything in the first section. I don't know if you were able to listen to much of the show, but I was getting into something that we have covered many times, and that's vegetarianism in the Bible. Just because I was stating that there will never, ever be peace on earth or even harmony on this planet until there is a banishment of meat eating. And I think that is true, essential, and it's biblical. And we're going to get into that. We covered so much. We covered Kobe Bryant already. Anything you want to get back into? I am going into this.
As far as the coronavirus, I saw a Business Insider headline saying that the fatality rates for the coronavirus were very low, and that most people recover soon after it. So that leads more credence to the idea that it's more or less a fear porn psyop. But that, once again, that being said, it makes me think of Y2K and how that was gigantic fear-based psyop, and then what happens right at the next year, 9/11. So they like to prep people, predictive programming. They like to get people riled up for the fake out. So and once again, I'll say this to generate fear. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, just getting into that, we did kind of cover that because we said that there are a number of possibilities, and we're getting a lot of misinformation, but that we covered the fact that, hey, this coronavirus, if what they're telling us is accurate, it kills a lot less people. There's probably been 100,000 people dead in China as a result of the regular flu, while this or whatever flu, while this coronavirus outbreak has killed 100 allegedly, and sickened many, but that people are allegedly recovering from this So, but what we do know, and we reference this with the Bank for International Settlements new book called The Green Swan, is that this climate related and biological related green swan events, they can be real or they can not be real, but there is a real effect, and that effect is in the quote unquote real economy. So if they just make all this stuff up and it's not real, it's really hitting people in the checkbook. It's really short selling this market. It's really a, what can they do? The market is so artificially high at this point, based on what we were discussing last night, with this continuous quantitative easing infinity, this loosen, this 0 and -% interest rates, which is just creating money in the quadrillions. So there is a real effect of that, which is, hey, we gotta, one of the rules for these quadrillionaires and trillionaires that rule the economy is that they have to, in real life, always buy low and sell high, and they're taking their profit off this coronavirus. They're cashing in. So yeah, I agree with you on that, Cliff. But again, yeah, you're right. I think that's great analysis. When Clifford was saying, hey, the Y2K was all hyped up. Nothing really happened. It was all a big, fear porn type action. And then the next year, they really hit us with the hammer with 9/11. So I think that is the case. But also, I mean, I think we're being hit with this, and going by that model, my prediction for the hammer will be 5G related next year, I would say. But I don't like to get into predicting things. I like to just say how they are. And this 5G radiation is probably going, if it's more powerful, it's going to more negatively affect humanity than the 4G. And I just think that's science fact.
I do want to make a connection between the pandemic propaganda and the Australia bushfires, because this might be a little tenuous, but because people want to talk about free healthcare, I had a conversation with the guy I was working with or helping move about universal healthcare, and saying that the healthcare, honestly, it might kill more people than it actually helps. But Australia is one of the places where you can get a lot of good medical compounds. Things like this compound known as chlorine dioxide, which helps oxidize the blood and helps kill parasites, get rid of heavy metals. Essentially, for any ailment that has an infectious component, this compound, which chlorine dioxide itself is a gas, but folks in Australia have been able to engineer a liquid solution that you can dissolve in water, and my experiences with it, it's helped increase my cognition, get rid of brain fog. But Australia gets hit with these insane military-generated fires, and so you have a place that, hey, as far as healthcare, invest $30 in a bottle of this stuff, and you won't need to see a doctor for the most part. And now they're talking about pandemics. Now, again, this might be a loose connection, but I thought it was at least pertinent enough to mention that locations that seem to be good spots for alternative medicine being hit, and then right on the heels of that, we get news of pandemics.
Well, here
be a little overhyped.
Yeah, Cliff, and what I mentioned earlier in the story when we were talking about the FBI agent, what the hell was that guy's name? I'll find it in a second. Let's see. The bass guy. I'll get his name up here in a second. Max, get up on the couch. I'm almost done, buddy. Let's see. Okay. The Norman Spears, the guys. Ronaldo Nazaro, which also sounds like a fake name. Ronaldo Nazaro. That's gonna be my new alias whenever I have to do like a fake movie name for some sort of purpose, which I'll never do in my life. But anyway, that does sound like like a fake name from a movie or somebody who's prank calling somebody. What's your name? Ronaldo Nazaro. But anyway, this leader of the base, who's a intelligence agent under what sounds like another alias called Ronaldo Nazaro. I made the connection between the base and the coronavirus because remember all the charges that they were giving to the base because they smuggled out of Canada into the United States a former Canadian Army officer who was also a member of the base, and the one of the myth creation stories of the coronavirus was that Chinese military intelligence officials smuggled the coronavirus out of Canada. So, like, isn't that weird, Cliff? Don't you think? I mean, like, I'm sorry, I'm asking leading questions.
I mean, it's the classic maneuver where even their cover story paints them as completely guilty. It's like the cover story, like in the cover story convicts, and it convicts the government. It convicts.
Sure.
Just like back with the Virginia Beach shooting, it was a government official.
Right, and he didn't kill anybody.
It's just incompetent.
Right, and just to give some more context back to the folks about the Virginia Beach shooting, he didn't shoot anybody else. If this really happened, he didn't shoot anybody else. If we're to believe what we're told. He didn't shoot anybody else but particular government officials, and he waited till the end of the day to make sure, at least it seems, that there wasn't anybody else but government officials killed. So, like, again, man, I don't want people to die. I don't want their families to be sad or anything like that. But, like, hey, man, nobody like completely innocent died. So, like, nobody is completely innocent, but, like, if you don't work for the government, you're more innocent than somebody who does. And that reminds me, hey, we forgot to talk about the biggest news of the week, which we also predicted. We also predicted this when, if we're to believe everything about, or some of the things we're told about the Soleimani, Qasem Soleimani case, is that, man, this was a mob hit ordered by one person, and if that guy did that, he has opened himself up. And so now there are members of the Iranian legislative body, the Iranian government, who have put a pretty lowball, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bounty? Lowball bounty?
Lowball bounty, yeah, lowball bounty on Donald Trump. So let's do a Google search on bounty for Donald Trump. All right, let's see.
And did you get to the Mar-a-Lago event? Allegedly shots were fired because there was an intruder.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, we didn't.
I thought that was...
We hadn't gotten into that yet, but we will get into it now. All right. So here we go. January 11th, $80 million bounty on Trump? ? George Lopez jokes. Hey, hadn't heard about George Lopez in a while there. That's a blast from about 15 years ago. Iranian MP, this is Al Jazeera, January 21st, puts $3 million bounty on Donald Trump's head. That's lowball. That's the lowball bounty I was talking about. 80 million. Yeah, I guess that's, I don't know. I mean, it's got, is that,
It's certainly better. It's more reasonable than
well, I was thinking that they're making jokes because, like, Donald Trump says he's a billionaire, but places say that he's worth, like, about $80 million. So I'm, like, saying, is that, like, a joke that he's not even, like, worth that? And, like, obviously he didn't make the decision. Jared Kushner tells him what to do. So, yeah, this is just more like, comedian under fire for joking about Donald Trump. George Lopez under fire for joking about rumored $80 million bounty on Trump. Who's he under fire from? I hadn't heard anything about it, but comedian George Lopez has come under fire for leaving an inappropriate comment on an Instagram post about Donald Trump, about President Trump. The pop culture Instagram account Chicano World Star posted erroneous claims that had an $80 million bounty, saying we'll do it for half. Lopez commented on the post. Okay, I mean, like, what? Who's supposed to be upset about that?
I mean, the last time I heard about George Lopez, it was him urinating on Donald Trump's Hollywood star.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Funny. And they'll do it for half. So now everybody's bargaining about, like, the payoff that's going to be carried out if and when somebody offs Trump. And hey, I want to remind you guys of something very, very important. So we need to say this every time we speak. The Constitution is the rules for the servants of the people. The Constitution does not make sense when you read it and you try to put a sovereign man in the situation where, what? No, it doesn't make sense. Only the Bill of Rights makes sense for a sovereign man, and all of that stuff goes without even saying. So, again, we don't have to abide by the Constitution. The Constitution is the rules for our servants, and they have abolished that long ago. There is a war going on, and Donald Trump is one of the enemies. And he's not even one of the big enemies. So when he starts talking about, I can do anything I want while I'm the president is a president of a corporation. The corporation is the corporation of the United States of America. It is a governing corporate body that is subservient and a creation of man. That's all you need to know about any of that stuff. So let's get back real quick. Bible verses about vegetarianism. All right, Romans, and this will be like the 15th time we do it. I don't care. I get so disgusted of the torture of animals. It makes me so sick. It makes me disgusted. Stop eating meat. Replace it with something else. Romans, it is good neither to eat flesh, nor to drink wine, nor anything whereby thy brother stumbleth, or is offended, or is made weak. Amen. And then we'll get into the Genesis stuff. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. So yeah, eat your vegetables. Let's see. For the kingdom of God is not meat and drink, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Ghost. see. All right, sorry for the dead air, folks, but that's all right. All right, all right, all right, all right. Animal rights in the Bible. Here we go. Animal rights. Animal rights. And remember, we are in the time of revelations. We are in the time of revelation. So when I read you these things, remember, we are in the time of revelations. Let's see. Got to do a better search on Google. KJV Revelation. All right, let's see what we got. All right, here's some Bible verses about animal rights. A righteous man regarded the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. Let's see. Where are we going? Where are we going? Behold the fowl of the air. For they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. And are ye not much better than they? And that's my point. Yes, ye are not much better than they. Are ye not much better than they? Well, we see in the system of man. Cliff, let me get this out. In the system of man, we see people starving to death, and that is unnatural. That is an unnatural creation of scarcity. So in the system of God, we all live and we are all fed. In this system of man, as we stated earlier in the show, the bird species are getting wiped out, not because the Heavenly Father has not given them enough food to eat, but because they're being wiped out by the system of man, just as human beings are starving on the streets. Go ahead. Sorry, Cliff.
No, I was just gonna say that's why it ends question mark, because it's not just for that. It's literally to ask, like, is mankind better than the fowls of the air? Like, so why are you worrying about what you will eat and what you shall be clothed in? Because you're living in a satanic system that, like, distorted everything.
Yeah, the distortions. Distortions. Yep. Animal, let's see. Revelations. Animals. So we're trying to get the animals. Heaven, Revelations, animals. So we go. And of course we got to go with KJV. All right, so let's see. We're still going with the. Hey, Cliff, can you get? Let's see. All right, we're looking for a particular verse here. All right. All right. Hey, Cliff. Hey, take over for a minute. I got to do some research here. Let's see.
Okay, yeah. One thing I wanted to get into is that since we're in Aquarius season, and talking about the age of Aquarius and sort of technology, and when we talk about Trump being a puppet, I wanted to get into what's going on again in Virginia this February with the Israeli defense minister, the criminal enemy of the American people, Israeli defense minister, coming to coach the treasonous police and SWAT team on using lethal, non-lethal, and lethal robotic technologies, and how there's this, whether it's incidental or about the advancement of technology and how essentially we're in a new age. It's the end of an era, and um, the enemy gets in front of it as they always do. And again, people are very concerned about what puppet politicians or some persons seem to be quite concerned about what puppet politician is going to be called the president of the United States when these people have no real power. They're just celebrities. They're just political celebrities out here selling you out by an agenda plan, decades in advance at least. And again, I find it quite interesting that we get this news about there being an incident in Florida Mar-a-Lago during the impeachment hearing, which that just, to me, I barely keep up with it. I get notified by MPR whenever it's happening, but it's a complete farce. As Chris, you and I discussed, the ones who are the most honest at this point are the Democrats, except they're glossing over Trump's biggest crimes. Not only things like being a 9/11 co-conspirator, obviously, but his involvement in child rape rings and just all the fraud that he's been involved in.
Absolutely.
And I want people to realize that when you talk about all these different political distractions, most people are concerned about the Super Bowl when you've got the greatest enemies of the American people and the world coming to train these road pirates and like costume dressed thugs on how to use like lethal robotic technology. And so again, as you were saying, without God there is no hope. And so that's what I have faith in, is God, because the people with the masses, or when most persons seem to, even when most
90
seem
seconds.
to comprehend this information, they're just traumatized by it. They're just absolutely traumatized and seem to be petrified.
Oh yeah.
But I just wanted to remind everyone that's probably the most important thing happening this week. Not the
Oh yeah,
Super Bowl,
yeah.
not whatever Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, here we go. We're gonna get into this. Israel declaring directing war in Virginia. Made a video about that. Israeli companies, Homeland Security, law enforcement, and critical infrastructure protection with the most innovative and operationally proven technologies in the world. UAV, aerostats, counter UAV, sea-based unmanned systems for the National Guard and ports, law enforcement securing critical infrastructure. So that's cyber warfare carried out. Unmanned systems, intelligence, event management. And robotic lethal training, lethal robotics that the Israeli government is training the Virginia police with, and using the Commonwealth of Virginia to manufacture these because of their IT infrastructure in Northern Virginia, and then spreading it throughout the country. They're already doing this. But yes, that is a key disgusting element of all of this stuff. And you know what? I'm so tired of that guy, Richard. I'm so freaking tired of you, man. Okay, so we're going to get back into... let's see. Here's Isaiah 11:6-9. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling together, and the little child shall lead them. Amen. And Revelations 5:13. And every creature which is in heaven, and on earth, and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. Now I know that's a lot of astrotheology, but it's also what as above, so below. so we are guided by the heavens, and we are instructed by the heavens to live in harmony. Let's see. More from Revelation. I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he sat upon him, was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Amen. That's what we're in. We're in this time of warfare and revelations. And blessed be the Lord my strength, which teacheth my hands to war and my fingers to fight. And the armies which were in heaven followed him up upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Amen. Let's see. What else do we have here? All right, so there you have it. For the earnest expectation, this is Romans 8:19 through 22. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. Amen. We have dominion over all the animals, and we have failed. We have absolutely failed. Revelations 5:13. Let me see. I'm going to check out Richard's thing. Richard's like this squeaky wheel tonight. Five. And I believe we've probably read this scripture. What do you think, Cliff? Maybe 24 times on the show, 36 times on the show. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, I think that's... Yeah. Revelations 5:13. Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is in them, saying, to him that sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever. Yeah, that's not even the one that I was thinking about, but hey, that's another good one. It's all good. None of it's wrong. All of it's right. Folks, 99% of the time misinterpret the Bible, but yeah, it's obvious. And I can tell you that the Bible is written down. It's the natural law written down. The natural man needs the Bible because of this system we have been indoctrinated into that we know we need to decode and read. But the Bible is what's in everybody's heart. It's what's in the heart and the mind of the people. And I can tell you that folks have to be indoctrinated into this system that the natural born human being does not wish to kill an animal. That's what I know. You have to be trained to kill an animal. So that's what I know. And there's that, not that I advocate, but there's, like I said, for every animal that's killed to feed these persons, the world would be a better place if in fact the person was killed and the animal were to live. In about, I would say, 95% of the cases. And in 100% of the cases, it would be better if all the people just decide to act in a godly manner as we're instructed in the book of Genesis and have a plant-based diet. So I look forward to forwarding that agenda in the world, because I don't look forward to the death of anything, but I know that the animal is better and more innocent and better for the planet than 95% of the population of planet Earth. So there you have it. There you have it. Stop eating meat. It's wrong. It's disgusting, and it's unhealthy. Look at what you're eating when you're eating meat. And talk about spreading disease. Nothing spreads disease more than eating meat.
I mean, think of it this way: for you not to get just immediately sick. You have to burn the flesh.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, animals who are designed to eat other animals, they don't have to like completely incinerate the flesh of their prey.
Exactly.
Humans do, so that tells you that
So that gets more into also how God made us, how we're made by God. So God made certain animals to eat other animals, and God gave ability of man to eat anything. And this gets into this coronavirus. I know it's not from eating bats or eating mice or eating dogs or anything like that, but in any event, don't eat any animal. I love these folks. I made this post one time, and it was and I think I took it from somebody else, and it says, oh, you judge a man by how they treat animals or something to that effect, and it got so many likes. Never trust a man, never trust a person who's cruel to animals or something like that. And I saw all these people click like. They love it. They love it. Love. Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. But they're cruel to animals because they eat them. Oh, I thought you meant cruel to dogs or cats. Like, yeah, who would want to be cruel to a dog or a cat?
Get a little more into that, because it's a type of sort of implicit sociopathy or psychopathy that this society breeds, where everyone is disconnected from the consequences of their actions or what had to be done for them to be allowed to do something. And so people are completely disconnected from as I think you've said many times, that if it were the case that, hey, if you want to eat animal flesh, you have to go and kill the animal yourself, most people wouldn't do it.
Yeah. And the people who would do it, you got to watch out for. I mean, I think that's like
Exactly.
maybe even more of a key point. But hey, I would love, I wouldn't love to see that because it would involve animal but let me tell you, the rules for slaughtering pigs, which were instructed in the Bible, don't eat. It's like, hey, but that's the thing we eat the most. Hey, I'll go through this again. I mean, I feel like, I'm repeating my material, but seeing that it's Stupid Bowl Sunday coming up, what we know and what I know about historical facts and, studying Christmas, like in one of my ancestral hometowns of Harper's Ferry, Virginia, they're like, oh, what did they do at Christmas time? Well, the kids played pranks, including blowing up, pig intestines and playing ball with it and popping it. So what do they call football? They call it the pigskin. You want to toss the old pigskin around? Like, so that's like a lot of where it's getting its origins, and it goes way back. But Sunday is the Lord's day. It's the day of the Lord. The Lord rested on the seventh day. That's Sunday. The day of the sun. The day of Lord Jesus Christ. The day of the Son. The Son of God. So the Bible tells us, like, and they say don't eat pigs, don't even touch them. And so, what is Sunday spent doing? The true religion in this country, based on gambling. I know, I get it. It's based on not just one vice of watching a bunch of overgrown, steroided up men like getting gay with each other, being gay in a rigged theatrical homosexual ballet. The whole thing is about them touching and passing around what God told them on the Lord's day not even to touch. Don't even touch a pig. Don't even touch a pig's skin. All they do is touch it. That's the basis of the sport. All right. enough with the, enough with the pig eating. And I want to talk also about intelligences and how mankind deludes itself, the stupidity of mankind. All other animals act naturally. The man is the most unnatural animal. All the other things, they got instincts. They're born, that they eat what they know that they're going to eat. They have very little, indoctrination process. But human beings, it's nothing but indoctrination. It's sick and disgusting. So there you go. Hey Cliff, can you clean up that comment section if you get a chance? Because I'm not able to do that.
Yeah, I'll go in and like I'll police the comment section. I'm out right now. But one thing I wanted to mention, like often people will try to say, oh well, other animals eat other animals.
Right,
so
exactly, they do.
Why can't human beings? But the other thing is like when you look at carnivorous animals like sharks, like tigers, like any of them, they don't end up destroying their ecosystem doing it. Man's the only one that's done that. You never hear about sharks overeating the fish. That's only humans.
Right. Exactly.
So again, they act in accordance to nature. They're not just going off and like slaughtering like their prey by the millions.
Right. Exactly. Because they need their prey. I remember reading this book called The Mirages of Marriage, and it was written by some Harvard shrinks back in the 50s. I read it many years ago, and it talks about correlating fox and rabbit populations. So if the rabbit population is high, then the fox population will be high. If the rabbit population is low, then the fox population will be low. And this is the natural order of things. And that is the opposite of the way that human beings live, because the institutions and the individuals that are in charge of the world right now, they wish to replace God. And that's not something I agree with, knowing how other human beings are. So absolutely 100% correct, Cliff. Absolutely. And thanks for reminding me about this week and the what do you call it? Let's see. What is that thing called? Israel, Virginia, Drone Alliance. I mean, I know it's not called that, but that's what I'm gonna look up. 2020. So let's see what we got. Israel, Virginia, it's around 2020. So like we'll just call it the Virginia Israel Advisory Board. So just so we get through that thing real quick. The Virginia Israel Advisory Board is a government agency that helps Israeli companies build and grow their operations in Virginia. Israeli Unmanned Systems, Naval, and Avionics Defense Delegation visiting Virginia. At the invitation of Governor Ralph Northam, the Israeli Ministry of Defense is bringing a delegation of 20 Israeli companies with autonomous systems, avionics, and naval technologies to the Commonwealth, February 3rd through 6th. So my birthday is February 5th. And then, let's see. Non-financial state incentives for Israeli companies. Why do they need incentives? Okay. So there you have it. look out for that. We've already explained it. We've made videos. We talked about it last week. It's coming up this week. It'll be something new. It's already happened. This is just the escalation of the book of Revelations. Yep. All right. So we went about 15 minutes over. We started about 5 minutes late. So Cliff, we're about ready to shut it down for the night. Any final thoughts?
I guess for those who still are very involved and care about the rigged Super Bowl, given that there was a California sacrifice of Kobe Bryant, that would bode for the script to go for the Niners. But again, don't waste your energy on this. Like, don't feel it's not real. And besides that, peace, much love. Keep searching for truth. This society is a complete failure, and it must be razed to the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got to just transform society 180 degrees, like Cliff says, and actually 360 degrees. If we go back in time, we need to live a natural life and stop with this automated, simulated BS. This is all just a simulation. They have AI equivalents of every one of us out there, every human being out there, and they know you better than you know yourself. So, just down with the system, and really, we need to enforce the law, and all the folks involved with corporations and the government, and even propping the government up in any way. They need to be, and this could be done very simply, because I do wish to say this. With the way we have it today, we don't have to exterminate the Jews or the Khazars. We don't have to exterminate the synagogue of Satan. They can be managed more easily now than ever, and because they will destroy all that is good on planet Earth, because that's their plan. They are the synagogue of Satan. They're the worst. They're the manifestation of the adversary of God on earth. Because human beings are the worst of the animals. We fall the shortest. We do not follow God's instruction. All the other animals do. And the worst of humanity is the Khazar bloodline, by far. You know, every nationality and ethnicity, they have their own downfalls. But what's going on is, and I want to get into this with what this blackface attorney general, and when I say blackface attorney general, I mean he looks like a Khazar named Mark Herring, who is talking about anti-Semitism laws in Virginia. Number one, Jews are not Semites. Jews are Southern European, the female Jewish line of the mitochondrial DNA. The mitochondrial DNA of Jews, the female line, comes from Southern Europe, Italy, Greece, Mediterranean area. And the male lines are also European and Turkic, but not Semitic. Not Semitic at all. Not Semitic. So Europeans, like Western Europeans like ourselves, our ancestors way back came from Ireland first, then went to the Levantine region, Semitic, and then back to Europe throughout history. We are Semitic. The Khazar Jews are not. They are not. So this anti-Semitic stuff is just a load of garbage. It's BS. It's BS. And what as Clifford pointed out, what are they going after? Let's see what they're going after. Mark and herring anti-Semitism, hate speech. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna decode this waste of oxygen. Okay, here he is from one day ago. Virginia Attorney General pushes for hate crime legislation. And so we'll see what he's actually pushing for. And remember, this is a guy who painted his face black. And he was also not the only other of the top three government officials in Virginia. The only one that didn't paint their face black is someone with African ancestry who was accused of rape. So the other guys like to paint their face black, but all right, here we go. Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring said that now is the worst time in recent memory for anti-Semitism. We just explained to you, if you attack the fake Jew, the imposter Jew, the synagogue of Satan, you're not being anti-Semitic in any sort of way, and that they are the manifestation of the devil on the earth. Spend time with any Jew and or ethnic Khazar or whatever, and tell me that individual is not, the just manifestation of hell on earth. And the best of the Jews, they will admit it. They can't not admit it. Because it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm just this way. Like, God made me this way.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, he names a false flag event in Pittsburgh as why the supermarket in Jersey City, blah, 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 Anti-Defamation League. Oh, Cliff, you missed it. You missed it earlier. We were talking about the base, and there's this thing where the sheriff contacts the Southern Poverty Law Center to find out what he should do about this alleged hate group in his jurisdiction. So, or in what he believes is his jurisdiction. Okay, so here we go. His anti-hate proposals would update the definition of hate crimes to include sexual identity and disabilities, keep guns away from those convicted of hate crimes, empower the Attorney General's office to prosecute hate crimes, and prohibit paramilitary activities. What? Paramilitary activities? And Cliff, what did you say when?
Remember, when they're trying to prohibit paramilitary activity while they have these criminals coming and training the child rapist known as the cops and the SWAT team to use lethal robotic technology.
Right.
Keep that in mind. Think about that for a second.
Think about that for a second. Exactly. So this is the absolute best juxtaposition to end this show with. So, they're acting like freaking the base, which is a government creation, is a problem. That what they were charged with was taking a regular gun, a regular semi-automatic gun, and making it automatic, which is also from another movie. Also inspired from another movie. And then they go like, oh my God, I'll tell you, you can have all the automatic weapons in the world. Okay, let's fight, Cliff. This is just an exercise. I would never advocate going to war with you or anyone else, except for if it's lawful, and it certainly wouldn't be. So if I were to rig a game and say, Cliff, you and I are going to go to war with each other, and I will give you every single fully automatic gun on the face of planet Earth, and I'll take all the weaponized lethal robotics. Who's going to win that war, Cliff?
mean, unless I'm like a really good shot, probably you with the weaponized robotics.
Well, of course the weaponized robotics, because like you don't even have to like you could shoot all the weaponized robotics, but you can't keep up with how many we're making or have already made. I mean, it's impossible. Warfare is done like how they, according to them, according to what they say. If what they say is to be believed, how did they kill this guy that's like their biggest enemy? Did they go in and send SEAL Team 6 in? No. They killed him, Soleimani with a weaponized drone. So there you go. I mean, it's really, really kind of, absurd on every freaking level. And also, it is ironic that the flight restrictions for January 20th over Richmond, Virginia, and then the real thing to really watch out for and be scared of, not a bunch of crisis actors that were paid by the government to go down and stand in front of the Virginia Capitol, surrounded by weaponized drones and snipers with military strategic positioning, surrounding all these jokers that are posing with unloaded guns for the most part. But that the real threat comes from the synagogue of Satan, Rothschild Zionist crime state, and it is killbots. Killbots. So when you say drone, I say killbot. You say drone, I say killbot. Drone, killbot, drone, killbot. There we go. That's what it is. Oh, they can weaponize it with biological disease. Yup. They can weaponize it with nuclear warheads. Yup. They can send them undersea drones. Yup. They can put conventional weapons. Yup. They can fire lasers from them. Yup. They can fire they can have drone flamethrowers. Yup. And then whatever else, whatever other killing device, you can attach it to a drone. And that's what they're saying they're going to do to you. And I can tell you this, I saw this on NPR last week after they did a gun control story. And what they say is, we need to take the guns out of the hands of people. And what did I always say when I was interviewed about these subjects on international television? The murder rate from guns has gone down over the past 20 years. The more so-called mass shootings there are, the less gun murders there are. And I saw that on NPR saying that there has not been a murder rate this low in the United States of America for over 40 years. And they want to grab everybody's guns. And I say, I'll give you my gun when you give me the weaponized drones and the code to your nuclear arsenal and the key to your underground base. So there you go. That's the negotiation starting right ahead. And I will give up my guns after all those guilty of treason are executed. So we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to do it. So this is Chris Dorsey signing off. Peace and God bless.